Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter. I'll be your host this evening. I want to thank you for tuning in and watching us. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthanger Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthanger Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. Hang on one second, let me get rid of this thing that's distracting me on top of my screen here. Okay, there we go. All right. Like I said, we talk about building and flying model airplanes and involving sport or competition or just what you've been doing lately. And to join our conversation, you must be a registered Stunthanger Forum member to find the link. If you go into Stunthanger Forum and you're not registered, then you won't see the link. You have to be a member of the Stunthanger Forum. And to register, you must use your real first and last name when you register, and also must use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthanger, will not approve you. Now, if you're already approved and you just rather watch us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. You can enter your questions or comments in the chat box right over here. I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. Now, understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. And I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. And by the way, you only can do this during a live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, if you like the Stunthanger Video Hangouts that I do, or the many building videos that Sparky does, matter of fact, Sparky does even live events. He had I think it's the isolated contest. He actually had that live streamed this past weekend, so you get that. And if you enjoy that stuff, please give us a like. That helps the analytics of the show. And don't forget to comment and share, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel that way. And matter of fact, hit the notification bell and select all, so that you'll be notified whether myself or Sparky comes on. And I think I hit. Oh, you know what? We also have a YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is really less than 17 cents a day. I mean, it's very little for what you're getting. You get access to some of these guys that have 50, 60 years experience, and you literally can build your airplane on the shoulder of giants, and even your flying ability and understanding of control line stunt or RC or whatever it is. We have people in our gallery that have done that as well. Now, I just do pretty much control line stunt, but we have talented people that do all kinds of things with the model aviation. And let me see. Let me welcome Brendan and Angstrom. Let me go ahead and unmute yourself. I muted you guys. So how you guys doing?
Doing good. It was really warm today. We got out, didn't go flying. We got out for a walk today, but I'm excited to finally having some flying weather. We got some 70-degree temperatures coming next week. So
wow, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Hope you take care of that circulitis.
Yeah, I've got it. Are you ready to get back in the circle?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's how the symptoms start.
We got a couple of projects we've been working on. This is going to be for the SV11. We got our
make you big here. 1 second. Where is that at? I don't see it in my drop-down menu. Oh, that is interesting. I don't remember this not happening before. Anyways, I can't for some reason I can't make you bigger than you already are.
Yeah, it's the conversion kit. I think it's the 2020 from Brodax. It's going to be for the SV11.
Okay.
And what happened is our badass motor. It's a 3515 710 kV. It is like super close. I mean, it just fits in.
Okay.
And so there's a little compartment. I don't know how well we can see. Maybe not. there's just a structural component right here where everything kind of fits that has it had like a little circular piece in there to keep things maybe from sliding back or sliding forward in there. But I had to take that out to be able to get the motor to still be able to kind of move in and out in case we needed to do some modifications, or when we go to paint this thing, I can't have the motor sitting in there getting spray painted. So
right.
So we had to make a modification to it, but I don't think that's structurally going to do anything to it.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, the motor's going to be held in by the motor mounts.
Yep.
Right.
And it's the first time actually, when we originally made it the first go around, this is just aircraft carrier ply, for the motor ring area there.
Okay. Now I can make it big. Now that Gary Sinclair came in, I guess I needed more people. There we go. Now you're big.
Yeah, but it's the aircraft ply. They're like two pieces that are put together. But if you can see it, I put some of that brass tubing in there.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, I didn't do that on the first go around. I don't know if I just skipped over that step or just didn't notice it or what. But this time around, yeah, to keep it from crushing, put those little brass tube pieces in there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you want to do.
Yeah. So, working on that. And then the only other piece is that if you saw it before, this is our Buster plane that was our racing plane. If you saw it before a couple of shows ago, we had some really cool designs on it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, well, polyurethane took all the paint off and just made it an absolute mess.
Oh, no. So incompatibility, huh?
Yeah. So had to sand the whole thing down, start from scratch. Did a couple of test runs with the polyurethane. So we got some stuff that is not going to run this time, but it was a lot of sanding.
Oh, I bet. So what did you have underneath before you put the polyurethane on top of that? What did you have below?
It was a copper colored spray paint. But it was one of those, instead of it was Rust-Oleum. Let me see. I got it right here. It was a Rust-Oleum.
Okay, Rust-Oleum, okay.
Yeah, with one of the metallic finishes. And it's just, I guess the metallic finish is just one of those special types that it looks flashy. It looked great. Mm-hmm. But to make it fuel proof, putting that polyurethane on just absolutely tore the paint up, and it became a mess. It was
oh man.
So he's just got a new special color he's got on here, and like I said, we did some test balsa painting and stuff, and it's going to work this time around.
So you're going to use that same metallic finish, or using a different color altogether?
Yeah, this is I don't know how well this color comes across. My lighting is always a challenge too. It's hard to see. It's just kind of a sky blue, kind of an aqua.
Aqua like seafoam.
Yeah, that's probably the best. A real light color, and that's the plan. And then we're going to monocoat the wings a different color.
Very good. So, that's good. Well, at least you learned you can't put polyurethane on the metallic finish. Rust-Oleum.
That's a note to everybody else who wants to go that route out there. The metallic finishes probably aren't going to work for you.
Yeah. Let me welcome Gary Sinclair came in first, and then Jim Hoffman. Hey, Gary, how you doing?
Well, we're making it.
All right. You've been watching Sparky build these.
Yeah.
I'm behind. I'm only on like video 6. I know he's up to what, some other number. What last time I saw, I don't know where he's at.
Just watched it today. Put Redder on.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying this. This repair and build. I really getting a lot of information out of it when I do find time to watch it. Unfortunately, I don't have all day to watch it with my busy life I have. So
yeah.
No problem. Hey, Jim, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
Good. Yeah. Good to see you too.
I watch a lot of the replays. I just can't come on when it's live.
I understand. We have a lot of people like you that do that, and we appreciate them too. I mean, the replays are, I watch Sparky's replays. I don't watch too many of them live because there might be something else going on. It's a conflict sometimes. So I understand. But I appreciate you watching them, and you should make some notes too, and come back and say, okay, that was wrong. Nope, there's another way to do that.
Well, I do that sometimes. I've texted you before.
Yes, I know. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I can. One thing that I remember was Howard was showing his spreadsheet on setting up, really analyzing control systems, and I use that spreadsheet. It's pretty tricky. It's not easy, and I could see Sparky was uncomfortable with it. And Sparky said something that was absolutely true. There was a chart with a line on it, and that meant something to Howard, but it didn't mean a thing to Sparky. And quite frankly, it doesn't mean a thing to me either. But what it is you could take control system number one, and then take control system number two and number three, and by varying the parameters, you'd have three different lines on that graph, and it would show you how the merit of one versus the other is. He was talking about mechanical advantage,
Right.
and so it would tell you, changing this parameter, is it making it better or worse or the same? And that's really the value in that chart. And I could tell from listening that was unclear or not stated. So there's something from a week or two ago.
Well, I appreciate it. You've been doing any flying? I know that VSC is coming up, and I had Bart was actually going to let me stay there, but I just can't make it this year, and I'm a little disappointed about that. But I have so many things going on, and I also can't afford it too at this time. So, but I'm looking forward to hearing good reports from VSC.
Me too. So yeah, that consumes a good bit of my time this time of year, doing that. The entries close on, I think it's Friday. So actually, this last few days, I've reached out to quite a few people that, they're likely suspects who I suspect they're going to come. I just want to make sure that they haven't forgotten to do anything. And I had a surprise. Was it a phone call? It was an email. Dave Tribble pinged me. He says he's coming.
Oh, great.
And I got a call from Charlie Reeves. He said he's going to come. I'm not so sure if he really is, but he hopes to come. So a few nice phone calls like that.
I wonder if Mark Lumen's going to come, because Mark Lumen, he gets a lot of help from David Tribble, or Dave Tribble. I'm not sure what he prefers, but
don't know. And Stephen Michella. Oh, I heard Stephen on the chat say he was coming to VSC.
Yes,
but he hadn't signed up. So he and I spoke on the phone today. So
very cool.
Was able to coordinate that for him. We have this deadline to enter. We don't need the form or the money or anything like that. But we got to have your information. So
okay.
So I got that from Stephen today.
I believe John Wright is going to go too. I think John Wright and Stephen Michella, and there's another person they're going to probably. There's three people I think that are coming from the Knights of the Round Circle.
Good. John Wright's all entered. He signed up. He sent it for me.
Yeah, and maybe Gary Akers.
Gary Akers entered a long time ago. Yeah, but
good. Very good.
So I did get to fly. I flew. Dennis is entered.
Yeah. What was that?
Are you still bringing the missus?
Yep. Well, she's going to join me there. She's got to work a couple of extra days and stuff. She's going to actually join me the evening of Wednesday after all time.
Okay.
So Deborah's going to fly there? You're driving there, and Deborah's going to fly there to meet you?
Yeah, I'm going to drive in next week. I should be there next Friday. And she's going to join me Wednesday. and then after the banquet, we're going to be heading north.
Right.
We got, I think there was 5 or 6 states on on the checkbox, and so we're going to be checking off some states there. So
That's excellent. That's excellent.
yeah,
Make sure she brings her camera.
12 days to get home. So
I think
Have
she
her
wants
bring
to
it.
pay, Jim. I think Deborah, she normally makes like a lot of money, $40 an hour, right? So she was hoping to get paid, I thought.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. Oh, I did fly this weekend. I flew the orange airplane.
Oh, great. Great.
I had made a trim change. I think it was Dennis's idea. It still has a tiny bit of hunt in it, and I've trying to get that out. So I tried some down thrust, and I think the jury's still out. It certainly did no harm, but I'm not sure I could detect an improvement. I hadn't flown the airplane in probably 10 weeks, so it's not a fair comparison. But I'm gonna leave it in because it did no harm. So I'll get some more stick time with it later in the year and see how it does.
Now, did you notice that it hunted prior to flying the the Lunar, excuse me? Did you notice that the Predator hunted before?
Well, I had trimmed. Yes, I guess the answer to your question is yes.
Okay.
And when I say hunt, I mean, I've flown a lot of airplanes, and a lot of electric airplanes hunt badly. This is down in the last, chasing that last 5%.
All right.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good as it is.
Good.
So
Good.
I can't stay for about another hour.
All right. Well,
But I have a show and tell. So
oh, good. Okay. We'll get to that.
okay.
Let me see here. At Dennis Adamison, how you doing? Thanks for coming in.
doing really good. Ask me if I've been flying.
Have you been flying?
Hey, funny you should ask. I test flew the Gypsy today.
Oh, great.
Woo!
So I got a handle setting, I got the wings level, I got the bounce point, and I got 2 stunt patterns.
Wow.
And the wind was steadily, it was on this kind of a ramp. It was like 3 or 4 when I got there. There's about 10 when I finished after the second pattern. I had one more battery. I said, I had a pretty good day. We don't have to win. We're not going to win the next day. So I took the full tank home and I discharged it. So got a few tweaks I'm going to do on it at home, and but I feel far more comfortable now than I would have been showing up with a brand new, untested, unflown, on anything airplane. So
That's fantastic. I'm glad for you because you had a lot to do. Get your lap time where you want it and get the wings level and
yeah, well, that's it. And
get your handle neutral, right?
power felt good, and I thought, gee, it might be a little quick there. I put my stopwatch on it. It's 5.4 seconds. That's good.
Yeah, it's very good.
And it said I was battling. The wing was riding a little high and stuff. And I got a little too much tip weight in it, and that's down the list. I'll tweak that probably. When I get everything else where I want it to be. It's not a top 10 problem right now. And had good 2 patterns. I had good tension everywhere. Even when the wind was coming up, I was in pretty good shape. It was, I was doing verticals and overheads and all that kind of stuff, which usually if you're going to have trouble in the wind, they start showing up there. So a little inside outside issue that I think I had just about corrected. I'll make one more little tweak on the push rod, and I think I'll have it. Okay, it's went just about as good a test flight thing as it could have. I had I got out of it what I wanted to do. Charles, like we were talking the other day, I told you I just wanted to get things like a handle setting and see if the balance is going to be right. Because I had actually, I was worried it was nose heavy. I went out and bought a lighter motor, uh, 1 ounce lighter motor. I thought I was going to need that, and I almost changed it. No, no, no. Fly the airplane, then make the change if you need it. You know? And I flew the airplane and it doesn't need a change. So now I got a motor looking for a home. So
Very good.
I won't have any trouble finding a home.
So what line length are you flying that Gypsy on?
64 feet. 65-pound Spectra. My Ukrainian Spectra. That's a blue and yellow. Blue up, blue line up, yellow line down. So looks like a Ukrainian flag. And see, and I'm literally flying it on the same line, same handle, same adjustment as the lines I use on the Mobest and the Vector, or excuse me, the Velvet 5. I have 3 airplanes I can fly in the same setup. Which means
Nice.
if I start working on backups, I'll have a backup for all 3 airplanes. So that's worked out really well for me. So
That is very good. Very cool. I look forward to hearing about your Gypsy because I have a Gypsy kit and I got the Gypsy conversion already too. So
oh, they walked away now. I said when I was there getting ready to side on and stuff, it looked like Brandon and Angstrom were showing off a really cool electric conversion. So
yeah, hopefully they'll
I didn't hear any commentary. I hope it was good.
yeah, it was good. This the motors are 3515, I think 700 kV of some sort. And it's just it's takes up a lot of the space. There's not much extra space or wiggle room for that motor in that box. So you took out some a back part so you can slide it in and out. So
there's enough room. There was a bulkhead behind the motor that is it's really, really thin, but it would have to be thinner to get the 35 motor in there. So
cool. Well, I'm glad you got your Gypsy, got a maiden flight, and you have a lot of that stuff, preliminary stuff done. So when you do get a chance to go to the contest, you've had at least a couple of patterns. That's great.
Yeah, that's it. I got to the field today, and my God, the field was packed. You know, absolutely gorgeous day. We beat an 80-year-old record for a high temperature today. They say in the morning it was we had ideal conditions, and it just kept getting a little breezier as the day went on. Not too bad, but I was just I was happy to fly in the morning. Let's put it that way. So
very good, very good. Hey, Brandon, do you have we have Dennis here, the designer of that conversion. Do you have a question for Dennis regarding that conversion thing?
Yeah, I can point out what we did. Hey, Dennis, we got the electric conversion kit here that we're going to put on the SV11.
right.
And the motor is just right. It fits just in there, like very, very close on the sides.
Yeah.
There was, I don't know, it's hard to see, but right here,
Yeah,
that
would have been the tight spot.
Yeah, that was the tight spot, and we needed to be able to get the motor in and out. So what I did is after we glued the whole piece together here, I just removed that inner piece. I assume that isn't too valuable in terms of the overall structure of it after it's already glued together.
You got a box there and everything like that already. So, and it's all interlocking and stuff. So yeah, I think you're in good shape.
Okay. Yeah, had to carve that out. Otherwise, the motor wouldn't be able to go in and out. And we needed to be able to paint it up and things like that without the motor in it.
Yeah. What you might yet be able to do is might be able to put some balsa triangle stock in the corners, just in the corners of the box.
Yep.
That'll help reinforce it a little bit. Not at the bulkheads out of there. And if you put it just in the corners, it won't interfere with the motor. You put like a 3/8 triangle stock in the corner there.
Okay.
You might look into that.
All right.
Or if nothing else, reach in, mix up some epoxylite or superfill or something like that, and wipe a little fillet about that big, just on the joints in the front end, on the octagon where it comes together, and you could reinforce all the corners that way.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Let me
That was just fun seeing you. I'm gonna have to bail out on you a second. Oh, there it is. My headphone is saying it needs a charge. So
all right.
go quiet. I'm gonna go silent for a minute.
All right. Let me get Lynn Burrell and making progress on your Gieske Nobler.
A little bit. I haven't been doing much the last couple of days. I've been working and doing some home renovation work as well. So the Nobler's sort of been going a little slower,
Yeah.
like carving wheel pants and making little parts and so forth. So it's coming, but it's just a little slow right now. Lots of time.
Yeah. You're not going to be having good weather till May, right?
Well, not for me. I mean, I won't get out to fly till the middle of May at least, probably. I don't I know all the other guys will probably be out well before me, but I just won't be doing it this year.
All right.
Other things on the burner.
Well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. And it looks like Stuart stepped away. Hey, Stuart.
Charles,
You're
oh
up.
sorry.
What was you going to say, Lynn?
I was just asking, did you get my PM? I sent you a message.
You know what? I saw the message coming in. I actually got home and I did not have a whole lot of time to get ready
Don't
for
worry about it. You know what? When you get a chance, just check it out. It's not a big deal.
I saw I had a message and I go, oh
Okay,
man,
that's cool.
but I was down to
Yeah.
the wire.
Not just a couple of questions. It's all good.
All right, cool. Well, you
All
know
right.
what? So we don't run out of time for sure. Jim, are you ready, Jim? We can do the show and tell. I don't want to leave it too much to the end of the time you're here.
Okay. So two things. I saw Howard is here.
Yeah.
So yesterday I was flying and Warren was there. Warren handed me this. And
Nice.
I haven't even opened it up yet, but it's a set of ribs, laser cut. Maybe you can see them.
Oh yeah.
And he said he got them from Howard quite a few years ago. And it appears to be an impact wing and a jig. So Warren says he has a little bit of paperwork on it that he dug up. So I'll have to see what's in there. But do you have any recollection of that, Howard?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like my big parts, the things that hold the wing after it's sheeted.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take it apart and figure it out what's all in here. But
Okay.
it's beautiful wood, and there were some spars, 1/4-inch square spars, very, very light, bordering on too light for spars.
Oh, well, I have documentation if if you figure out what it is. Maybe
Okay.
it came from me.
Yeah, Warren says he has some documentation too. He just
Okay.
failed to give it to me. So yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. So that's not what I was going to talk about. So
that counts. That money that will bring boost to you.
Something I've been doing is balancing props. This is the infamous Phelps prop that is the primary prop you see on Aero Tiger 36s. And so balancing them side to side is pretty easy. That's pretty straightforward.
Right.
But occasionally what you get is the hole is off.
Right.
and you have an imbalance in the hub. And so when you set it this way, it wants to drop.
Right.
And you set it that way, it wants to drop. Or you set it this way, and it wants to go like that because one side of the hub is heavy. So something that a friend of mine has done for years that always scared the snot out of me is this. He would, let me get a pointer. He'd find the light hub, drill some small holes, and put some lead in there to balance it out.
Wow.
And he's done this for decades, and I've never seen anything bad happen. So these are expensive props, so, and they're hard to get. So I've tried it. And the plane that I'm flying, I've run about 3 props that all have this mod, and everything's been just fine, just fine.
How deep is that hole that you drill?
Oh, maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch, small.
Is it got like a Forstner bit you use, so it's a flat hole, or is it like a regular?
No, just the drill bit.
Okay.
The drill bit, and then you sort of press you turn the lead into a cylinder and press it in, squeeze the top, and then you use epoxy to secure it.
Yeah.
So my good friend Warren gave me another prop, and so I started balancing it this week, and lo and behold, that hub was out a lot more than I'm comfortable drilling holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, that's a piece of lead that I pounded flat and epoxy it on. I use you tape it on and play with it until you get it pretty close. So I glued it on, and it's pretty close right now. I got to balance it a little bit better, but this one I think I'm going to run on a motor on a bench in the backyard away from anybody before I put it on an airplane. But anyhow, that's what I've been doing with some of these props lately.
You can put a spinner on it, then it'll be contained when it flies off.
Yeah, that'd be great. So I don't know how many of you balance props. Is that something that's new to people?
Yeah, I do.
I glue lead on the hubs of Igor props, and you can put a little too much on and carve it off with an X-Acto knife till it gets right.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't come off very much. I typically use that extra low zap. It's really strong stuff.
Mm. Boy, the Igor props are pretty good.
Yeah.
Jim?
Yeah.
I use lead shot from for shooting ducks. The lead shot. And I use that lead sometimes to do what you're doing in a sense.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's just a bead that you can use, but
I use fishing weights.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned about this mostly because it's an IC engine. It's got that impulse that you don't have on the electrics. But so far, so good. I'm pretty pleased.
Very good.
So here, I don't know if this is a Dubras magnetic balancer. Is that what most of you use?
I've used that, and I've also used the other one, the one with the spinning metal wheels on top.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to change the cone around so it's centered on the rod.
Well, I do that sometimes, but now it's centered. It's the flat spot is on the back of the prop where it mounts to the face of the motor.
Turn it around. It's got to be centered in the hole, not on the back of the prop.
Yeah.
Mm. That's
I
true.
agree.
I don't know. I've had some trouble with those, depending on the size of the hole and stuff. You put it together, and the two cones come together in the middle,
You
and the
grind
prop
the
is
end
just
off.
kind of floating on it. So, yeah, I've done just what Jim has done there, as a means around that, short of cutting off the cone or something. But
Yeah, I grind the end of the cone off so they don't touch.
So, but of all the balancers, this has been the most sensitive. So I use this,
mhm.
the magnetic. No.
Very good.
So that was my show and tell. I don't know how familiar people are with this.
I am, but I don't think our whole audience is. They're not probably familiar with balancing the hub.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just probably intuitively know to balance it horizontally, but not vertically.
Yeah. You'll
Yeah.
see sometimes you try to balance it horizontally and it won't stay. It wants to go the other way.
Yeah. That's where everyone's really out. You know, I've used I don't play golf, but those golfers, they have that lead weight tape. It's a really thin
Mm-hmm.
thing, and it's you can take off the adhesive and then epoxy. It's really thin lead. It's like almost like tape, and I've used that to balance the hub.
Yeah.
The best prop balancing tutorial is by Culver Props. It's a girl who makes props here in Missouri. They're real airplane props. Yeah, just look it up on YouTube. Culver Props.
Culver, C-U-L?
Yep, C-U-L-V-E-R propellers. And she's been doing it ever since she was a little girl. Now I think she's about 35. And she takes that thing and zips it through the bandsaw and sets it on the balancer. And I mean, she's talented.
She very.
Yeah, I'd
I
like to
know
see
what
it. I mean,
I've seen that. I've seen that site too. She's terrific, and
I'm self-taught. I'd like to learn.
Continuation of the family business or whatever, but
Right.
they're beautiful work.
But she'll teach you
I
how to
don't know
balance the propeller correctly.
I don't know if she works on 10-inch wooden three bladers or anything like that, but
No.
she would. So
No, but the theory's still the same.
Yeah. Let me get to Stuart, because Stuart had walked away when I was ready to give him his time to shine in the light of the show. Hey, Stuart, what's happening with you, Stuart?
Nothing. No, I'm working on the planes a little bit, but I haven't been doing too much. So just working away at it.
Very good.
Have more done hopefully in another week.
See your shop, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's coming along. I'm still sorting stuff out, fixing little things up. So I got a ways to go, but it's getting easier.
I'm really envious of your desk collection system.
Well, yeah, that's it works pretty good for what I'm doing. I mean, it's not like a huge one you see in a wood shop, but it takes most of the dust out of the little machines and just kind of keeps the dust down. So I like it so far for what it's doing. So happy with that.
Very good. Very cool. And then let me see here, Mark Gerber. Hey, Mark, thanks for coming in. How you doing?
Good, Charles. How are you?
Doing good. You making any progress on your Bearcat?
Yeah, I got the sheeting on the wing all done. I think I put the last piece on this afternoon.
Oh, very
It's
cool.
down there gluing right now.
All right.
And getting ready to go to VSC.
Very good.
I'm going to be going to Florida Thursday for a week. So I got to be ready for VSC because as soon as I get back from Florida, I got to hop on a plane to VSC. And Keith Russell's going to take my airplane.
That's nice.
So we're getting together for lunch on Wednesday. And I'll give him my airplane and a bag of stuff. And there's 5 of us coming from Colorado this year. Jim, still there?
Yeah. So did Jerry enter?
Who?
Jerry Higgins?
Oh, yeah. He's coming, didn't he enter?
I have a list here. Yes, he entered.
So I have him and Chris Brainerd and John Penny, me, and Keith.
John Penny, that's a new name to me.
Yep.
Is he going to enter?
I would hope he does. He's got a beautiful ringmaster that's period perfect. It's just like it was in the 1950s. The wheels and the motor and prop and everything, paint job. Looks just like the kit box. But he may be just coming to watch. I don't know. I'll see him Wednesday, so I can ask him.
Would you ask him if he's even thinking of entering to call me with his information? We don't need his form or the money, but I really got to have his information.
Okay, I don't know if John's ever entered a contest before, or if he can even fly a pattern, but I'll find out.
Okay.
John's a renowned pilot. He used to fly the Rare Bear
Oh.
out at Las Vegas, or Reno, rather.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, he stopped by our field one time. He came to town to fly Paul Allen's airplanes.
Okay.
And stopped by the field, and I didn't know he was famous.
He's very he's a very
biding his time till he can fly your Bearcat.
I found out later he was famous.
He kept trying to get my bear. He wanted me to paint my Bearcat like the Rare Bear.
There are a couple of Bearcats in our neighborhood painted like Rare Bears.
Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of them.
Yeah,
Alan.
Anyway, I told John I didn't have a year to paint the airplane. I wanted to get it done. So
Lyle's
Rare Bear paint scheme is pretty complicated.
Lyle Shelton's son lives just up the road from me. He stopped by my circle one time.
Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, John's a really nice guy, very unassuming, and he's getting back into the hobby, I guess, after his whole career of flying first military in Vietnam and then United Airlines for a long, long time. So it'd be nice to have him come to VSC.
Great.
I'll see if I can talk him into flying, Jim. I'll give him your number and if I can get him to sign up. But
yeah,
Jerry Higgins told me he's taking John's airplane.
Cool.
For him. John's going to fly down, so would expect he's planning to fly something.
All right. Is he AMA member?
I think so. He belongs to our club. He flies at the Circle in Nevada.
Cool. Hey, Howard, you're actually next. Actually, Howard, what you been up to?
Nothing exciting. Go on to the next person.
And that would be Mark Wise.
Hi, guys.
We have a good crowd, so you can kind of update us on what's going on.
Well, I wanted to tell Jim Hoffman that I'm thinking of having a new event called Vintage Volunteers. And this would be, you don't even need a field. You just get a bunch of chairs, maybe a little bit of shade, and you get guys like me and Jim and guys, Denny, and people who've been volunteering for years and years, and we just get together and talk and eat and drink. So I'm working on it, and maybe it could be right after Jim's event. Jim,
we'll go an extra day.
Yeah, Vintage Volunteers. I think that's redundant, though. Guys who volunteer are vintage anyway.
Typically,
but,
how many nationals did Warren Tiart run? Was that 8 or 9? 10?
I think 10.
Wow.
He should be the chairman of your new group, Mark. So
perfect.
He's already been, he's so used to volunteering, he'll take that right on. So
I like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just keeping the information going between Pampa and the people who run AMA. I'm very optimistic about what's coming. I did have a nice phone call today from Bob McDonald,
Oh, good.
And he sounded good. And he said, I'm calling, just I'm not sure how much help I'll be able to give you in the next few months. And I said, Bob, don't worry about it. Um, we didn't expect much. It's great to hear from you. He hopes to be in Muncie for the Nats or the Worlds or both. And I said, well, how are you feeling? He said, well, I'm in rehab, but I'm stitched from my neck all the way down my spine. He said the whole thing has been opened up.
Wow.
So he's had an ordeal with it. He sounded good. He sounded, relieved and tired. This all started on Christmas Day. So that's what, 2 months? And any of you who've been in the hospital or that for even a week, it feels like eternity. So I just can't imagine what he feels like. Um, so that's about where we are. I am going to put out something tomorrow. Because of the Pampa bylaws, I have to announce that uh, certain people need to make their decisions whether they wanted to stay in the roles they're in half of our districts. It's kind of on an uneven year, but that includes me. So I have to announce if I'm going to run again or not. And so honestly, I hope I don't lose anyone. I think we have a really good group of guys. But you have to give them the chance. Some are busy and some it just the way life works. So if you see anything, it's not that it's a panic, it's just part of the Pampa bylaws. So that's about what's going on here, and I'll please all of you now by being quiet.
Well, I really liked the meeting we had last time, and I was thinking anybody in our audience watching, I mean, the $40 to join Pampa, and then to know that it's in good hands. You're doing an excellent job leading the Pampa organization. I just thought that was great.
One thing I learned, Charles, was, which you really haven't thought much about. I mean, how many people are live, and then how many people are, calling in or texting in or whatever. But I got a message from someone who spoke to someone who watched, and that's how he got his information. So, the number of people you touch is very hard to determine the true impact of it. And so, keep it up, and, it's all for the good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me catch up on the chat box. I kind of neglected it. Gary Sinclair, he's in here. He's a member of our YouTube channel. Yeah, I can tell by the moniker next to his name. He's also a monitor, one of our many monitors. I know Greg Biswick is another monitor. And he says, hi, everyone, like provided. Then Daniel Berry Sports Highlights says, yo. And then Dennis Adamison, who's a member of our YouTube channel. Again, I can tell by the moniker next to their name. And he provides with a like. And then Brent Williams says, howdy, guys. And then Mark Lumen, who's another member of our YouTube channel. Thank you for your financial support, Gary and Dennis and Mark Lumen. We appreciate it. And then got your like. Not going to make VSC, working in Vegas the whole month of March. Putting together an airplane to take out and fly there. And a bunch of smiling faces. And then the T-Bone 1260, that's Tom Luciano. And he says, what's up, A-Team? Gave us a thumbs up. Thank you very much. And then Philip Bailey, he gave us a like, said be in soon. And so we're all caught up. And don't forget to the super chats. The super chats help. And the memberships, you can start at just $4.99 a month. I do it. I don't have to do it. It's just less than 17 cents a day. I mean, it's like going to Starbucks or Better Buzz or Better Bean or any coffee shop and getting a cup of coffee there just once a month. And we could use your support. Let me see who's next. Jonathan Caradas. How you doing, Jonathan? You got to mute your mic.
Yeah. Good. I had you on mute. We got kids half the neighborhood here today, and puppies and kids and stuff going on. So I thought I'd better put it on mute. Yeah. No. Yeah, quite a good weekend, although I planted my Tony.
Oh,
It
no.
was a pretty windy. The wind just kept gusting, and we kept getting. At one stage, we got quite a bad dust devil sort of thing going through, and it took umbrellas and stuff and
Wow.
went in all directions. And I was struggling to keep my model airborne, but I managed to get that back in one piece. But the other one, the Tony, I was doing I was opening the loop out. I just wanted to see how I'd done some work on the controls, and I was just testing it out to see what the controls were like on a wider loop. And I got caught up high in the wind, and the lines came in on me, and she just went straight into a kamikaze, straight in, and made a real mess of itself, unfortunately. Really planted that.
Sorry to
So
hear that.
it's rebuildable, but I don't know. I might just chuck it in the heap. I got enough to do at the moment. We had an interesting day because we had radio control people up there in the paddock next door, and they had an open day for scale. So they had about 150 people there, and it was very busy, very, very busy. That was good. Good weekend. Yeah. So yeah, I've got a bit of work to do this week.
Yeah, you do. Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it, Jonathan.
No worries.
Yeah, Sparky, how you doing, Sparky? I've been trying to catch up, but I'm slowly making progress. But I really have been enjoying this this build of the Spectra.
So you're the one, huh?
No, there's more than me. I mean,
That has not been a good series. I got all the woodwork done now. I'll start covering it tomorrow, the fuselage.
yeah, it looks nice.
It always does.
I just guessed on everything. You know, the rudder I just built tonight. If you go back and look at the show, I just stuck a piece of wood on and go, yeah, it looks about right. And cut it off here and sand it, tuck and trim, and that's it. So.
Well, Sparky, I've been one of those poppers you talk about because I haven't had a whole lot of time to tune into you, but doing what I can.
Yeah. This subject has not been a good subject.
Why not?
I don't know. I guess nobody's interested. It's really hurt the metrics, this subject. So, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm going to paint the canopy. I'm not going to mold the canopy or in anything like that. I'm just going to paint it. After I get it monocoated, I'll glue it on. The rudder's just stuck in a hole right there, so I'll monocoat that and stick it in, epoxy it to the stabilizer. And it's going to be silver to match this on the sides, and it's going to have a green on top and the turtle deck, and then the rudder is going to be metallic, dark metallic green, and the leading edge is going to be dark metallic green and dark metallic green, and then maybe a little metallic green in here with some kind of doodad, and then a yellow. I got some yellow monocoat, a yellow starburst, just to add a little color to it. But try to get it done. I'm going to get it done this week. That's for sure. That'll be the third week I've been on it. Too long.
Very good, though.
Can I make a suggestion, Sparky?
I know. I can't open up the hole anymore because the landing gear's in the way there, and there's a firewall back there with the wing. There's no way to breathe the hole they're back. So
Is there airflow on top of the wing?
No, there's a firewall in there. You got the the block
Yeah,
there.
never mind.
So what I'm going to do for the ESC is it's going to go down here in this trough, down in the bottom, and then the timer will go on the side. So we'll have air coming through, and of course I've opened up the spinner hole, is pretty good size, so we get some air flowing through there.
Okay.
I mean, it's just it's got more airflow than it did when it was stock, because it had just a little hole in it.
Okay.
You can see the Sparky pedigree in there, Sparky. You can tell it's one of your models. It's got
How's
that
that?
nice line about it around the
I think-
nose and tail. It's good.
I think it looks dorky, but whatever.
Oh, well,
The way this motor mounts on the back half, that square mount puts the engine closer to the center line of the wing, farther off the datum line. Normally, on an IC model, the center of this would be up another half an inch or so. So it's closer to an inline on as far as the center line of this and the wing, but the elevator's up. I don't know. It should work all right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
it'll probably be the best flyer you've ever made.
I ain't flying it, so I don't know. It ain't my airplane. I'm repairing it for Steve.
Well, you need to trim it for him.
I'll have to do that too. I guarantee the last one I needed a trim for, this one here, before he crashed it.
What's it weigh so far, Sparky?
Too much. It'll be, I think it's 27 ounces. Put the monocoat on, it'll be 30 ounces plus 20 ounces of battery and motor and timer and wire and all that BS. It'll be 50, probably mid 50s. But it's a little wing. It's only 50 inches. Yeah,
Well, it still
50
sounds like it's going to be lighter than it was before you started.
10 ounces lighter. It'll be 10 ounces lighter.
Yeah, that's insane what it weighed before. So, it flew reasonably well even at that weight. I was surprised or shocked actually, and it's going to fly better now. So,
well, and what's the power equivalent to in that? Is that about a 40 or a 46 or a 50 or what?
He had a 60 in it. He had some kind of big motor in it. It had a 60 in it with a huge battery. The battery weighed 14 ounces. So he's going down to a 10-ounce battery now and a smaller motor. I don't know. Will tomorrow got him set up with some kind of badass motor. Next size down from that. So it's probably a 40.
Okay. So when you said 60, that's equivalent to a 60 of IC.
Right. He had a big airplane motor in it, like a 32 or what, big. I don't know what the heck that thing is. I don't know.
It was plenty of power for the model anyway.
Yeah.
For the size.
Let's see. See if I can.
He had so much motor in it, he didn't have enough landing gear the clearance to put a prop that the motor was capable of turning on it.
Yeah, 28, 26, 10. 28
with Contra.
28, 26, 10. Whatever that is.
That's what came off, or that's what's going on?
That's what came off. And the battery was a 4-cell, 14-ounce, like a brick. I mean, it was, let's see. Here's the battery that was in it. A Yumi 4,000 milliamp battery.
No way.
It weighs 14 ounces.
That's almost twice as big as it had to be.
So in order to get it to turn, I had to put 3 ounces of lead in the tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kept opening the handle up and said, still won't turn. Well, there's another thing I found in this now, because I put it back together the exact way the controls came out, exactly in the same holes. And I got to looking at it. It had more flap than it did elevator.
Oh.
So I fixed that. I moved the horn up. I tried moving the push rod up, but the ball links interfered. It's got 1.5-inch horns in it. So got the wrong stuff in it.
Well, at least Sparky, at least you're enjoying the whole thing.
Oh yeah, great. He'll come over tomorrow to work on his airplane, and he's gonna bring the motor and the batteries. And I found some straps that I'm not going to use for battery hold down. We'll give them. So, I don't know. We'll get it done here in the next week. You can take it out and play with it. Now, what'll happen is the lines will break. Because I did not replace the lines. I should have.
Give it a good pull test.
Not on me. I didn't put them in there.
Do you normally replace the lines after a crash?
No, but I normally replace the lines when they're shit. And these are ARF lines, you know.
You mean lead outs?
Lead outs, yeah, lead outs.
Oh, lead outs. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah,
No,
I should have
Steve's
replaced
using
the
a
lead
set
outs.
of lines I sent him, so I was, that's why I was
Okay.
curious about
Well,
that.
I can vouch for those lines if you sent them because I'm still using your 60-foot or my 60-foot, 66-foot lines that you sent me. They're green.
I'm using them on I used them on the checkerboard Viper. That's the lines I was flying it on 64 foot. They're okay. I mean, I think they open up in the wind though. They seem like they, you know, like a Dacron line opens up. That's what they feel like to me.
What do you mean by open up?
You know, a steel line will stay all together because it's all wound tight. Those feel like when you come into the wind, they open up, you know, fan out, like they get thicker in the wind.
Oh, okay.
They're ribbon out, ribbon.
Right. That's what it feels like to me.
Huh.
I don't know whether it is or not, but
Oh, interesting. Well, speaking of lines, Tryon, you still using the lines I made for you?
Yep.
And they're holding up all right?
Yes.
All right, good. What you been up to,
What
Tryon?
braking strain are those? What braking strain were they, Charles? Those ones?
Oh, I think they were stainless steel.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Used them in the World Championships. So my lines have been in the World Championships. All right. So what you been up to, Tryon?
Here you go.
What size did you send Sparky, Danny?
80-pound.
I went and got
80
some
pound. I
100
think,
pound.
I forget, 64 feet, I think.
yes.
I went and got some 100 pound wire line the other day. I think it's 7 strand, and the guy ended up giving it to me. He said, "Oh," he gave me 150 meters of it, and I said, "Well, how much is that?" And he said, "Oh, you can have it." He said, "It's come off a roll of 1,500 meters
Yeah.
that guys come in and put on their tuna rods, you know." And he
Yep.
said, "They're not going to want this. We'll probably throw it in the bin." And I went, "Ha! I've got some mates that'll be around real quick."
Yep.
So they'll be going back to get it. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
All right. It
Let's
looks
check
like
out.
What are we
we
looking
have
at
both
here?
sides now on a bell crank.
Yeah, you picked that up. Very good, Dennis. Very neat.
This is how it works. So here at neutral, it's about 5/8 of an inch to the bearing, from the pivot
Right.
to the bearing. But also, if you look at the application point for my push rod, it's about halfway from here to the pivot point. So whatever force I'm applying here is gonna double over there, pretty much.
All right.
So I have a lot of finesse, a lot of power around neutral.
What are you going to react with it?
Huh?
Why do you need the force around neutral?
Not really necessary, obviously, but yeah. But even if I go here, the distance now it's pretty much close to the max, right?
Right.
But even if I lose some force over here, I still double it. So kind of rough period to pay Paul, in an essence, right?
What's
But
that
I
made
have an
out?
accelerating motion here at the high end. So when I do a loop and obviously when you run with do the loop maneuvers and stuff like that, it's very friendly, right? Second. So that's kind of the idea behind it. So this is one of them. Somebody wanted to see it, and there you go. Let me show something else that you guys
Tryon,
asked me about.
Trying, did you hear Sparky? He asked what's it made out of? What materials you're going to use?
With Delrin. Everything is going to be made out of Delrin to cut down the weight.
And how much will that thing weigh?
More than yours for sure. But I like the way it runs. I love the way it flies. So that's that.
Brian, is this something you developed, you've invented, or is it a?
Yeah, it's my own little thing. So I've done something here. So if you can see here, it's just a wing, right? And I created this curves on top of the wing. It's actually, these are the ribs. If you look like that. So it's just a glider wing. But let's say you want to make a different stuff, right? So here's an example. Let's say we want to change the profiles, right? So I go here, I say edit, and I say I want NACA, I say 16% on the center, and say okay, and voila. See how the whole thing is updated to the new profile?
Yeah, very cool.
Now let's say I want to change this other profile over there, that one, to a wingtip profile. So I say edit, and say they make, like, let's make this 14%. So 0.14. Okay. Boom. Now you can see we have the updated profiles, right?
Yeah.
And also all the ribs are following suit, if you notice that.
Right.
Can you change the shape of the ribs as you go out, as well as the size?
I just did.
Yeah, that's what he's got. He's got a different thickness, or similar profile, different thickness, right, Tryon?
Yes. So it's 16 here, 14 on the tip now. Now let's say you didn't like the shape of the wing, right? Just a second. Let me get this out of the way.
So that's working similar to SolidWorks, is it, Tryon?
Yes, exactly. So
Okay.
let's say you don't like the shape of the wing, right? Then you go in a first sketch, edit, and now I can change anything here. I can make this whatever else you want to have, another dimension, right? Or you can change this, make it wider at the roots, say 8.5 inches. So 8.5, enter. You see how it updates? So now we have the new shape for a new platform. And when you say okay, guess what happens? Everything down the line is going to get updated to the new shape.
That's nice.
So
Jonathan, last week you were asking why do that instead of doing it with pencils? If you were doing it with pencils, you could do all of that work, but then you'd have to go back every single rib and project it, reproject it, and everything like that. And with the CAD, of course, you can change a couple of parameters, and the whole surface changes.
Let's say I wanted to make an egg crate. Actually, I want to make an X-wing where the ribs cross in 2 points. Could it do that? No problem.
Sure. Watch this. So what drives this cross section is the sketch here, right?
Okay.
Okay. So say edit. Back in the top view. Okay. So here you go, Sparky. Let's say I want to go from here to there.
Right.
From there to there. Here you have a cross section, right?
Correct. It's now get rid of everything else.
You can also delete it. It's not a problem. So now if I want to introduce this in my cross section, all I have to do is go back here. Loft, sketch, project curve. Edit this. And all I have to do is just select those 2 lines. Say okay. That's one profile. Second one generate. You see them now?
Yeah, but I don't see a rib profile. All I see is an X line. You know,
There's the rib profile, trust me.
It's in there. It's in there.
Yeah,
You
it's
see
there.
it there?
Let me hide this surface.
There
You see
you
it
go.
now, Sparky?
Yeah, I see it.
There you go.
Wow.
Simple as that.
And you can delete all that other stuff. You know, I want to make an X-wing where the ribs cross like that, and then the tail of the next rib cross the other tail, so that, you know, and so that'll get rid of 25% more ribs with more strength.
Okay, watch this. I'm going back to my first sketch. Edit again. And let's make more X's over there.
What you're really doing is electronic lost foam.
Exactly.
Oh, what lost foam is doing is mechanical CAD.
There you go. Mechanical CAD. That's a good way. I haven't heard that one before.
Well,
mechanical drawing. Oh.
Okay, so let's say you like this Spark. Let's say you see like this X, right? Okay. Watch this. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna edit this one again. And what I'm gonna turn off everything. I'm gonna deselect everything. Okay, everything is deselected right now. So now I'm gonna select that. You see what I'm doing? That's it.
Yeah.
All right. And this you can move them wherever you want to move them later on, right? To regenerate. Okay. Ta-da.
Looks like one of my wings.
Victor
Got your
Cunningham
profiles. You
did
see
a
that?
Galaxy that was an egg crate wing, and I think, you know, them pre-flight guys got a whole lot of good stuff going on where the wing is super rigid but doesn't have any material in it, and it was done similar to that.
Yep. This is exactly how they created. Just like this. Okay, Jonathan, this one's for you. Create document. Boom. Fresh document, right?
Yep.
Okay. Sketch. Top view. Okay. And here is insert an image. Bam. Let me see. Give me a sec. I need to. What did you say you're working on? You were working on Hurricane, right?
Yep.
Hurricane documents. Hawker Hurricane, right there. All right. So now I'm gonna go back to my document. Let me make this a little bit smaller. And watch this.
Yep.
Boop. I'm gonna take this picture. I'm just gonna import into there. Select. All right. Okay. File search.
Oh, there we go.
This Onshape, does that run in your browser? It doesn't, you don't have to download anything?
Yeah, it's just in the browser. Yeah, it runs like that.
Yeah, because I just looked it up and it says nothing to download.
Yeah, give me a second. So yeah.
So you got to create an account.
Select an imported image. I forgot how to do this, but basically you take the image and import it in here.
Meanwhile, here's a picture of interest.
What is that, Howard?
I think it's Graham Swallow. Is that his name? It's an airplane built like Sparky's talking about.
Oh, I figured it out. Never mind. You have to go say import, and it's asking you what to import. And let's see.
Just while he's having a look there, you could almost make a wing out of a basket weave using this program, couldn't you?
All right, here you go. It's imported.
Don't need ribs at all. Just the caps across a spar.
No, you can't do that. There wouldn't be any strength.
I think there would be quite a bit of strength there, especially if you got them to overlap further in other places as well.
If you look up the Barclay Grow bush plane, which looked a lot like a Beech 18, they were built for the north. They were geodetic construction without spars too.
Jonathan, you see this?
He's talking about without ribs, just the cap strips.
So now I can give it a dimension. For example, say your plane is whatever. It really doesn't matter. I can scale it up after that anyways. I can make it like, say, I can make this, say, if your wingspan is about, let's say, about 30 inches, let's say 25 inches, right? So I have 25. So this should be about 75 inches here. Give me a sec. Delete this. I'm gonna make this 75 inches. Boom. Now I have almost a scale 1-to-1, right? And on this space here, now you have a scale 1-to-1. Now you can play. I can start tracing your wings and stuff as I say okay to this, right? So now I have the picture in the environment, right? Sketch. And I select the top plane. And now you can go to town, right? Let's make a fuselage, right? Here you go. Boom. Boom. Right? Make another line. Right? Now we need an arc from here to something like this, right?
Right.
You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
You see how easy this is?
Yeah, how long did it take you to get that good at it? How many hours did you practice doing it?
It's just a line. A line has 2 points. Click, click. Select the line
but
feature. Click, click.
You know where the menu is. How long did it take to figure out that menu?
Okay, let's look at the menu. How many options I have? I have a line, a rectangle, a circle, arc, a polygon, or spline, and that's about all I need.
And all those things that open up on the left of that, where you got,
that's a mirror, a pattern. If you have a pattern, it means like you copy and paste things.
These boxes that open up on the left, not up on the top. You can see what those are. Those boxes that open up on the left. I go here and I go there and I go here and there and there. On the left.
Oh. Okay.
Sparky, we didn't learn to do the plotters overnight. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
it's gonna take a while to learn all that menu.
Yeah, it will, but it's doable.
So
this stuff is much simpler now than it's ever been.
So if I want to do the rudder, I'm gonna just here select an arc. An arc is 2 endpoints, right? And then you play with the middle, right, until you fit whatever you want. I'm making another arc here. 1, 2 points. I'm gonna fit it here. I have another arc here. Boom. And another arc here. Boom, boom. Sorry, I deselected. There you go. Here's the top of your rudder, right? Looks like a line here. I'm not wrong. Might have another arc here. Another line. I need the line. It's gonna go from here to here. I mean,
I'm gonna download it and play with it, but I bet it'll take a while to figure out all that menu crap.
yeah.
It'll
let's
take a
say
bit,
I'm happy with this right now. So now here's the cool part, right? Let's say you want to put a wing somewhere, right? We have sketch one. I need the line. So let's say I need the wing and I want to put my wing here. So I'm going to put a line just for the wing. Like this. Boom. And maybe another one for the elevator. Here's your elevator. If you're really fanatic, it's even in position, right? All right, so profile generator, right? And this thing is asking me for asking me for a plane and 2 points. So this is a start and the end, right? And I know NACA, let's say go 16 or 18. Look at that. Have an airfoil there, right? Say, okay, I'm going to reuse this generator again. So what I'm trying to say here is that it's not that hard to use this thing. Elevator, let's go 8%. So actually it's a 0.8. Okay, and I'm going to select point again, and I need the plane here, top plane. And as you can see, it's generated already. Okay, so look at that. I almost have a side view of the whole plane traced.
Where do you get the airfoils?
What?
Where do you get the airfoils?
It's a profile generator that I have here.
A profile generator. Where do you put in the numbers for the airfoils, or do you put in the equation, or?
If it's an NACA, you can put the 4-digit numbers, or you can borrow from the database, right?
And it's NACA.
And in the database, you have a bunch of stuff in there.
NACA digit airfoils are in the database.
Yeah, there are a
Probably
lot of them. Look at this.
Hundreds of them, wouldn't it?
Hundreds of them.
You'd be, well, I mean, that's infinity. You can go into another program and mess with those from here till eternity.
Yeah, but I'm almost sure that the usual suspects are here.
Did you have to download those airfoils, or are they in Onshape?
There's the only thing that I profile generated that I downloaded from over there is a special, you know, you can do here search tools here, and you can search for that. And where's that? I think here, so you go to App Store, you look in a App Store and say profile generator. Let me see if it appears. And you can download them, or there's even a video about how to do all this stuff. So pretty much, okay, so long story short, this is kind of, I just wanted to share some things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you said there's a lot of YouTube, you said there's a lot of YouTube videos too that help you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's on everything, right? How to create a wing, how to make a profile. There are videos on that, how to download all these mini tools. This is a special tool, right?
All right.
And you can see creates the splines here and all the stuff for your wing, and it's pretty much positioning. I mean, yeah, this is simple stuff. And let's say after that you want to make your paint job, you can make it straight here, and then save it as a DXF file and ship it to your color plotter, stuff it on, paint.
Yeah.
Done.
to the airfoil, can you manipulate the airfoil? Can you change the leading edge radius and stuff?
No.
Okay.
No, I think this is plain airfoil. But that being said, I'm very happy with the NACA Symmetrics 00 something. They're very good, in my opinion. So yeah.
Jonathan Carradas, go ahead, Jonathan.
Oh no, no, I wasn't putting up my hand. I was just thinking about what's being said. I was thinking, Tryon, you can fiddle around with those airfoils, and you can mess with them, can't you? I mean, you can do that somewhere else and then put it on there. If you want certain flight characteristics. See, what I'm wondering about is, are there certain wings that perform better on that particular airframe at a particular speed and all that sort of thing? In a particular way, would it be better to have, say, virtually no curve from the thickest part of the wing underneath straight back to the flaps? That kind of stuff, subtle differences. So as the wing develops from the wing root out to the tip, it might even have an inbuilt twist or curve to the whole
Depends
thing.
on it, yes.
It could be kinds of parameters that you could mess with.
You can always do that here. All you have to do, like for example, over here, if I want to change this wing, pretty much the options I have, I can change the shape of the wing, the airfoil, and then I can change the size of this line that drives it. That's just those 2 points, right?
Yeah.
I can put an angle of attack to it by changing the angle of the line, right? I can make it longer or shorter, and the profile is going to be driven by those 2 points, the start point and the end point.
I got a question for you. I don't know how much you've studied yet Cinco airplanes, but what makes those airplanes special is the wing stays pretty thick. It's kind of curved. It looks like you could only do it in a mold. It stays curved or stays pretty fat to about 2/3 out, and then it curves, tapers. Can you do it on that? Could you plot ribs to do that on that?
Sure.
And it would be curved. It wouldn't be, have facets in it.
In actual fact, in the real Hurricane, it's almost a slab in the middle across the center.
It's a straight wing with a round tip.
Then then you bang your tips on.
But Sparky, the answer to your question is, it's elliptical wing distribution, lift distribution on the wing.
Right. It's not.
That's what makes that wing so good.
It's not an elliptical wing. It's just, if you look at it from the front, I studied it real close. It stays thick to about 2/3 and then tapers.
Yeah, but also if you look from the top, it's kind of equal. It doesn't taper in too hard on that distance, and then it starts to taper in towards the tip. So probably you have the same airfoil, just it's probably some like this.
But the way that it looked to me is that it could only be done in a mold, or you couldn't make that with wood.
Yeah, curves.
Yes, that's
what's that, Howard?
Compound curves.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, could you cut that with a hot wire? Nope. You'd have to do it with a mold. But I think that's right. That airplane's special.
Yeah.
There are people in Brazil that actually sell a kit that's basically a copy of the Shark, and it's wood build.
The only way you could do
it,
Tryon, the only way you could do what it would be to segment the wing into say 5 or 6 zones, so that each segment becomes a wing within itself and connects with the adjacent piece. Then you could build those differences. Then you could shape those differences into it.
But
you'd have to smooth the transition, of course, somehow.
Get out the belt sander.
Yeah.
So,
Jonathan, with what you were talking about a minute ago about changing the airfoil shapes, top and bottom and stuff, that's exactly what Al Rabe did with some of his designs to get an asymmetric airfoil for appearance's sake. And it seemed to work for him.
Piece of wood will curve around those different shaped rudders, ribs.
Yeah.
And make it, you won't have facets, like you would if you did a segment and then a segment and put them together.
Are you going to get leading edge sheeting to do that? It has to be done in a mold.
Wet it.
You can.
Well, you could mold
right.
it. You could mold it now. Make a leading edge and just mold the thing, and then
You
take
can
it off.
even
Put it
make
on
it
the
easier
airplane.
than that.
Well, that's
You
the
can
way
cut sections.
That's the
You
way
can-
it's done on the ombre. The ombre is an elliptical wing that comes out flat part of the way out and then curves. Okay.
So,
I'll
so
tell you
what
what,
you
let me
can
go
do, you can make
downstairs.
something like this out of foam.
It's actually like messing with round pegs and square holes, because you're actually trying to create something that's an organic. Well, that's what's in my mind anyway. Is an organic surface like a bird wing that is continually interacting with the air around it, the environment around it, at different flow rates and at different pressures.
That's a
and
top plan, but I'm talking about looking at it from the front view, looking at the leading edge, the top.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
bottom of the sheeting.
There's
If you
not
were
that
to
much
do
curvature
something
in the
like
front.
this,
You can build elliptical wings out of wood, fully sheeted. They're just fine.
Try to duplicate me a Yatsenko wing out of wood. I want to see
I
it.
could build the thing out of anything except the hot wire.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay. So what I have
wire.
to say about that is that Yatsenko has an elliptical lift distribution around on the wing.
That's
What we do right now, we don't really have it because we have a constant chord in most of the wings, the Paramaster wings and stuff like that. So you can achieve it two ways: elliptical lift distribution. You can achieve it with an elliptical wing with the same airfoil that kind of goes around, or you can also do a pretty good job with a straight taper wing, but you need a thinner airfoil on the tip than on the root.
No, that won't do it. They'll have the same lift curve slope.
Howard knows what I'm
Close
talking about.
enough.
I don't think you could do it without a mold, could you, Howard?
I don't know. I doubt it. But why not have a mold?
Yeah, that's a big. You got to make 3 airplanes to get one.
But elliptical lift distribution is interesting, but you don't need it for stunt.
On my plane, I found that it works pretty darn good. So that's all I have to say about that. So coming from the glider world, where everything is about efficiency and looking on those gliders, when you do the racing part of it, you have like 2 posts like this at 100 meters apart, and they go like this and turn and come back, right? And they do it with such an efficiency and such a hard corner that without losing much of energy in that turn, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, but that's not the issue in stunt. If you have too much aspect ratio or too little induced drag, the thing will speed up in the wind. So you want to get just the right amount. So
yeah, that's a give or take. So I thought it has some merit into it.
Yeah, I like what you showed, but let's table this right now and let's go on. I want to make time for other people, and thank you, Tryon. I appreciate it.
All right, we're done.
Delaney, I haven't have a chance to welcome you. Thanks for coming in, Gordon. What you been up to?
Well, we had a tether contest Saturday.
What kind of contest?
Tether.
Tether. Okay.
It's like a little speed airplane. It's got to have a canopy and a wheel and a TD 020.
Okay.
I set the record back in the 60s. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I finally beat my own record. And then at this contest, I couldn't get within 12 to 14 miles an hour of my record. I don't know what happened, but the motor just did not produce. So I've been working on those all day, tearing them apart and checking them out, refitting them. Haven't had any luck today.
Just the air was different.
More
Yeah,
nitro.
maybe the air or the humidity or the
Not that much because another guy went 62 miles an hour, and my record's 66 miles an hour. And when I'm doing 49 miles an hour, it's definitely not the air.
How's the fuel? How old is the fuel? And how much nitro?
We're only allowed 30% nitro.
And how old is the fuel?
About 3 or 4 days.
Well, that ain't bad.
Oh, but I remember
You
watching.
don't have to use the same fuel. Everybody has.
Oh, that's okay. That's a different thing.
How about the little screen in the back plate where the needle goes down?
Mhm.
The needle valve's in the front.
Oh, so you don't have that.
TDs are rotary valve engines.
Yeah.
So
These are TDs.
Okay.
I know when Huff, Herlocker, and Langlois used to fly, Langlois used to fly. They would watch a set of. They always had a suitcase looking thing with them, had a bunch of gauges in it, and they put up a couple practice flights. But when everything got just right, the humidity got just right, and everything the best they were going to get, or it started going over the hill, going down, them and 2 or 3 other teams would about fight for who got to fly next because they knew that was going to be the high speed flight of the day. And that's about all I know about speed, but I do remember that.
Well, it does affect a little bit, but on a smaller airplane like this, you're only going around a 10-foot wire around a pole.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fast. And to set the record, that first lap's got to come on hard on the very first lap.
You're running them on pressure, Gordon?
What's that?
Are you running them on pressure?
No, just section.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, the last time we had it, I was turning right close to 30,000 RPM.
Do you have the prop on the right way?
Good, thanks. Well, I ran it today. I tagged on it today, and it barely struggled to get 22,000.
Good grief. 8,000 RPM difference?
Yep. We were running around 29.9 to 3,000 RPM on the props we carved for them. The props are only 3 inches long.
How long is it since the engine last ran?
Say what?
How long since the engine last ran? How many years?
Well, the engines don't forget how to run. About 4 years ago.
They get gummed up with Castro, though.
Yeah.
Well, these have all been disassembled, cleaned, and put back together.
Well, that might have been the problem too. Sometimes if you mess with an engine, it buggers them up. And sometimes if you run them and they've been sitting around, they run all cruddy for a few runs and then they start to come right.
Well, if that's the problem, you won't get one of these started.
Oh, okay.
You wash the compression off of it.
Anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's just, I was a little disappointed that I couldn't get up in the 60s.
So, Gordon, did they time that from a standing start, or was that in flight?
Standing start.
Okay, so that's why you got to have it. You got to be screaming off the ground. All right.
Top end, mine was running right around 75 top end.
Mm.
But the prototype, the best we could do with the regular plastic prop was 59 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And we had one guy that was carving his own props, and he had the record about 60, I think it was 61, 62, and he cut it too short. And so I says, "Hey, Bob, will you sell me that prop?" And he says, "Well, 50 cents too much? Not at all. And then I jumped the record to 63 and then 64, and it's all on that first lap.
Mm-hmm.
So Brent Williams is there, and his brother went the fastest. He turned a prototype 62 miles an hour.
That's Sparky.
Good night.
Good night, Sparky.
Good night, Sparky.
See you.
But anyway, about the time I turned it loose, Brent grabbed me and yanked me out of the way because that's how fast they come around.
Wow.
I wasn't moving very fast, and Brent just grabbed my whole body and yanked me out of the way.
Good.
Nice.
Good job. Good job, Brent.
He can do some grabbing.
Yeah.
He's not a small guy. He could definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
He picked me up and threw me across the room.
Well, very good, Gordon. Hey, let me say hi to Carl. Hey, Carl, it's been a long time since I've seen you. And I don't know if your mic or computer's working good enough to respond.
Oh well, yeah, it is. Tonight it's working.
Yeah.
It's good to see you all tonight.
Yeah.
So.
Good to see you.
You've been doing doing any flying? I know you haven't been flying out here.
No, I as I told you a week ago or so, I'm still kind of recuperating from that bad sickness that's been going around. I came back from Louisiana, got back on the 12th, and then the Tuesday or Wednesday, it just, for some reason, it hit me really hard. So
Okay.
I've been doing nothing but sleeping most of the day, trying to get rid of it.
All right. Well, Joe Mata went to the flying field and he said it's a complete disaster. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to fly. You know, you could fly because you wouldn't even mind the overgrown grass. It'd be fine for you. So
Yeah, but my legs are still weak and
okay.
So I don't want to be spinning around in circles. So
All right.
not yet anyway.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Oh, you bet.
Let me get to Bob Whitley. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Doing good. Saturday was good. Sorry, I had to leave early on Friday. It was not join you, but took a fellow up to about 150 miles north of here, or so 200 miles north. And every year they clear off the ice and make a runway on it on one of the lakes, and they have and they also clear off racetracks, and they have cars and motorcycles doing ice racing. Nice. And so and ice pilots fly in, and they get a lot of airplanes. And so I just took one older fellow. I'm doing recurrency training for him, and we went up there and just visited old friends and stuff. And I showed him how no big deal landing on ice. It's like anything else. And just had a heck of a good time. But it was a long day, like I expected. And then yesterday, the crap started coming in. We'd had almost, spring weather here for a week or so, just at or just above freezing. And yesterday, the stuff started coming in, and overnight, we got probably about a foot of snow. I had 2 to 3 foot to shovel, and it was about 20 below this morning. So it was a little nippy. So I finally put better boots on. So, and tomorrow it's going to be crappy too. So I don't really care what else is going on in the world. I'm going to do a bit of paperwork for work, and I'm going to spend the whole day or as much as I can in my shop building bloody model airplanes, which I haven't done for ages.
Very good. That's awesome.
I just discovered I don't want to be there when it's cold. When you think it's cold, I don't want to be there. 20 below.
Well, actually, 20 below isn't too bad. I was moving stuff in and out of my truck, and it got kind of too hot for my parka, so I actually stripped down to just a jacket. But, if you're moving and working in it, but once you hit 30 or colder, and 40 below for us is exactly the same as 40 below Fahrenheit. So, that's 30 below or colder. That's when you really got to draw the line. Like I won't do any flight instruction when it's 30 below or colder because it's just too darn hard on the airplanes. Plus, it's just miserable being out in it.
I've only been one time in my life, and I was in Alaska. I don't want to do it again.
We had this January, we had a couple of weeks where it was hovering around 40 below for 2 weeks or more. In fact, it got down to pushing 50 below one night.
No thanks.
Hey Bob, when you say
we-
you land on ice on a lake, you've got snow skis on your wheels, correct?
No, not on ice. If you tried to land on ice with skis, you'd have no directional control.
No, well, that's what I was wondering. Did it have a layer of snow on top, or just when you say
No,
ice,
they-
you mean
They,
ice?
they grade it right down to the ice, and then they do what's called scarifying, where they have little grooves on the blades, and it puts little grooves on it. But they didn't do that in the taxiways, so you got to be real careful taxiing. None of this high speed stuff.
Yeah.
Because you don't get to turn around.
Yes.
Even pulling into a parking space, I just couldn't turn. I just shut it down and pushed down on the tail and spun the plane around and pushed it back.
They
Were you
use
using normal wheels and tires, or do you have like flotation tires or what?
No, just ice is rock hard. You don't need flotation tires.
Yeah, I just thought you might want all that. You might want all the surface area or something like that.
No, I don't need it. They had about a 3,000 or 3,500 foot runway plowed a couple hundred feet wide. Really didn't need much. But what was interesting though is partially the cold weather, but the airplane had new tires and tubes on it. And I noticed when we were there that the nose gear looked a little bit low. And when we got back to the home airport, we were fueling up. Damn tire nose wheel went flat while we were fueling it. So I'm real glad it didn't go flat up there on the ice.
Really? I bet.
So getting it in the hangar instead of pushing it, there was one of those little tugs there, the gas powered ones. So I just had the owner, who was a little bit chunky, way down the tail, and I fired that up on the nose wheel, and I just putted it back into the hangar, and the mechanic can deal with it.
Yeah.
You don't have spikes on your tires, Bob.
No, well, the car and motorcycle racers that are out there, they do have spikes on their tires.
Yes, yeah.
I never went over to see them though. It was just I just visited with a whole bunch of old friends, and we hopped back in and came home. But
put
it. Have you ever landed on any glaciers? Any glaciers up there?
We don't have glaciers here. I mean, I got to go about an hour and a half, 2 hours of flying west, and then I get into the mountains. But to get into the real glaciers, we don't have a whole lot of them unless I duck south from that area to the Columbia ice fields. And then there's some really significant glaciers. But there's no strips or anything on them. And if you did, snowpack on them anyway, you'd have to have skis.
Yeah, we got a few in the South Island. Tasman Glacier and Fox and
they're a lot smaller now. When I was about 10 years ago, I was up flying in the backwoods around Haines, Alaska, just west of there in the mountains. And there used to be a lot of glaciers back there, some of them pretty big. And even then they were all shrunken up that they're not nearly as big as they used to be. So, that area where I was flying in, maybe in the winter they'd be more. That was in the summer, but I sure wouldn't want to be trying to land on them.
No.
Well, cool. Let me get to Stephen Minchella. Hey, Stephen, you still going to VSC? All right.
Planning on it.
All right. Now you was this time Friday. You was talking about your Nobler, right?
Yeah.
Having problems with the elevator, the control system between the elevator and the flaps.
Yeah, I haven't really messed with it at all. There's no real problem there. That's just like I was saying, they're piggyback, so I don't have as much throw as it used to have. And then I have a double set of controls on it, one that's broken down and dragging kind of. And I need to just get in there and remove it and repair it the correct way, I think is what needs to be done. But probably what I'll do is I talked to Jim Hoffman today. I'll probably just fly my Ringmaster in all three events. I'll probably fly the Ringmaster in the whole time, Ringmaster event, and then Classic.
Okay. Your audio is
not too sure of that.
The audio is not coming in too good.
No.
I don't know why, but it's not. And
probably because of where I'm at.
Yeah. Oh, I have a comment in the chat box. It's from Montana Farmer. He said, "Hey everyone, where's John Miller been?" John Miller is not feeling. I mean, actually, he's feels better than he sounds. Is what he told me. So it's like a cold or something. And then he needed a new computer, and he ordered a new computer. And then when he got it, it was defective. So now he's going through that return so once he gets his computer, he'll be back. He should have been back. I thought he'd be back today, but he probably didn't receive the other computer yet, or something with that return and receiving a new one type of situation. We've all probably experienced that. So I believe Montana, you'll see him Friday. So, and he should come across very good. Should be able to share. He got a pretty good deal on a decent laptop. So that's it. And then Philip Bailey, what you been up to, Philip? Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I just can't seem to hit the darn thing. Just same old, working on cleaning everything up. Finished my driveway finally, working on tapering that in. And we did all that work on the driveway and then didn't think about the fact, okay, smart guy, how you gonna mow it? Outsmarted myself a little bit. But anyway, we'll get there. But it's just one thing after another, getting one plane about ready to fly. I brought my ombre wing up to show it. And
I saw you did the flip up wing, yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring it back Friday or next time we get in. It is it is an elliptical tip and it is straight. The center ribs are the same out to a point, and then it tapers down. You do the sheeting on a jig. You put it down on the jig and wrap it down just like you're going to wrap any full wrapped leading edge wing. And it works. It works very well. I don't know. This one's going to be an airplane here soon. The fuselage is almost finished, and the tail and everything else is finished. It was built one time. It's the one that the fuselage twisted on it. So I cut the wing out of the fuselage and cut the tail out of the fuselage, and it's about ready to, as soon as the weather breaks where I can get out and cover it and do everything to it I want to do to it, I'm gonna have this one ready. But this is the all-out effort on my account because I've spent more time and burnt more gray matter on this wing than anything I've ever built. But I hope it's going to be a good one. But it's his lip. Do what?
It makes sense to, doing a compound curve or whatever on it on a wing, like we were talking earlier, because if you can mold fuselages like a whole Sea Fury or Bearcat fuselage or something like that, darn well's mold a compound leading edge. It's a lot less severe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Al's Bearcats, you mold the leading edges, you mold the fuselage sections, and then you cut them up and put them on in sections. That's what nobody understands. You mold the back half of the fuselage, and then you cut that down the longeron so that you can assemble it in two pieces. And the front section as well goes on. You cut it in half, well, not really in half, but you cut it and put it together in pieces. And
just like the old J. Roberts Corsair that I've got from way back when.
Yeah.
It's got molded shells.
Yeah, I think that might be where Al got some of his ideas from because he mentioned that plane one time. But Al was a master, and he was the first. I think he is the father of the molded fuselage. He's just way ahead of his time.
Well, it made it look so easy.
Oh, he did. He did. He built the BBQB. He said if it can't build it in 24 hours. Now that wasn't one day. That was 8 hours today, 8 hours tomorrow. But if you couldn't build it in 24 hours, it would be the BB that don't be, is what he told me. But I have one of the kits that I got direct from him, and I'm telling you, it's a really nice airplane. It's built. I've got to put the wing in the fuselage and fasten that down. But the only big problem with that airplane is you got to have some space. It is a big son of a gun.
And that's why Sparky didn't build his. Remember, he had it in Dayton, Ohio. He was in that studio apartment, and he just said he looked at it and goes, "I can't build this here." That's why I don't know if he sold it to somebody or who bought it.
Yeah, he did. He sold it at the Nats, I think. Whoever bought that got one heck of a treasure.
Yeah.
Was that muffler was something else?
Bill?
Excuse me?
Are you talking about his Mustang?
No, I have the Mustang as well, but this is the Bearcat BBQB.
Oh, the Bearcat.
I have a classic Bearcat. I have a BBQB, and I have a Mustang kit. And save the cards and letters, folks. None of them are for sale. I'm going to build those. I got those from Al, and they came directly from Al, and I'm going to build those. But
I have the Walt Umland Sea Fury valves.
I'd love to have that. I'd love to have that one too. That was the next one I was going to. No, I know. I was going to try to get. I was going to try to get one, but I figure I can't do overheads. So I figure if if I get these 3 built and hanging on my wall, I got enough treasures.
I think I got the last kit that Walter put out before he moved.
Do what?
I think I got the last kit that he produced before he moved and pretty much shut down doing anything from Walt Umland. I was real glad to get that. I got a question from you guys that knew Al personally.
Okay.
I've heard it said so many times different ways for his last name. It's Al Rabe or Al Raby?
Al Raby.
That's okay. That's what I kind of
Raby.
Okay, thank you.
I heard somebody call him Rabe one time at the Nationals. He turned around. It's Raby.
That's what I thought, because I'd seen a quote from him somewhere that he said it's Raby, just like baby.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Phil, have you ever seen my big Tony?
Yes, sir. At the Nationals.
That's all molded.
Yeah, I know it is, but I think he's the one that started us doing that stuff. The first molded airplane I ever saw was his Bearcat. I know one of the early Mustangs was partially molded, and he was talking about molded decks. I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. And then I saw the Bearcat, and it was molded. And then the Mustang, Snaggletooth, is partially molded. But, I don't know. Bob Hunt probably made it as popular as anybody by making the bucks to mold leading edges and mold that. But the first molded, and the person that I credit with starting the molded movement, and Bill Werwich credited him with it when I talked to him about it, was Al Raby. And Bill Werwich does a lot of molding stuff too. And he's P-47 and several others. He was quite good at it too. And he credited Al Raby as being the man when it came to molding. I'm not going to argue with Bill Werwich, Bob Hunt, or Al Raby. Those 3 guys I thought were very good.
I've got a set of Al's plans for his Mustang 1, which wasn't molded. And they're actually
I have that too.
Actually on blueprints.
Yeah.
And I think I have the Bearcat one also.
It gives me headaches looking at it because it's got so much background in it. I can't look at it. But anyway.
Yeah, my Boston plans are on blueprint too, which is kind of interesting because it was a little bit later than that era. But
yeah, I had always wanted
to say, Bob, I couldn't quite make that out. What'd you say? Basta combat plane.
Oh,
yeah, that's a pretty combat plane.
I wanted to do
for the full size as well as a half A Basta.
Yeah, they were good planes.
And of course, I got the Nemesis, and I've been talking to Howard about maybe at the Northwest Regionals to get a set or 2 of ribs from him for Paul Jabot to bring back for me. Hint, hint.
Well, Howard's not here. He snuck out.
Oh, okay. Now, we talked about that before. I'll give him a call one time.
Tell you what,
Jim Rose
used to fly
a couple days ago.
What was that, Gordy?
I say Jim Rose just talked to Paul Jabot yesterday or day before.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Paul since Friday when I had breakfast with him, like every Friday.
Some people are just lucky.
Yeah, he was finishing off my Super Tiger 60 Brian Gardner conversions and doing a new Venturi, and he said, "Gotta wait a couple more days, Bob, because the damn thing went flying out of my lathe. I gotta make a new one."
Oh Lord!
As long as he didn't get hurt, that's the important thing.
I gotta find a new motor for my tag micro lathe. I was trying to turn a Venturi, trying to open a Venturi up a little bit, and I can't smell. So when I do smell something, it's, if I smell it, you'll run for cover. That motor was I looked over and that motor's just smoking. I said, oh my word.
Holy smokes.
So we turned that thing off right quick, and tag don't weigh much. Yeah, unplugged it, picked it up, took it outside and set it down before the smoke detector went off, but I didn't beat it by much.
Once the smoke gets out, it's hard to put it back.
Yeah, electronics is funny stuff. Once you see smoke, the magic's gone. It has left the building.
Well, that's the
You know,
thing. You know,
something
everybody
funny though,
says,
my one belt sander here, the stationary belt and disc sander, I actually have a metal sanding belts on it because I've got my fancy ones for wood. And I guess I got too much metal dust in there or something, and it started smoking one day. And I thought, oh, I'm going to be buying a new one. Tore it apart, cleaned it up, and it's working just fine. So I guess I managed to put the smoke back in for once.
Very good. Now, Dennis, what was you going to say, Dennis?
I was just going to say everybody thinks electric motors run on batteries, but that's not right. They run on smoke because when the smoke comes out, they don't run anymore. So
yeah,
that's the magic. That's
hey,
the
can I
magic.
do a screen share? It's kind of related to what we were talking about before.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to know one thing before Dennis gets started. What is that plane behind you? It's beautiful. Oh, wow. Look at this.
This is the foam wings I used on my Eclipses back in the 80s. Okay.
Oh, my.
Wow.
We're seeing an eclipse. Wow.
Yes. The high aspect airplane. And I was trying to build with foam because it was cheap, and I was trying to build lighter than normal foam, you know. So I figured the way to get there was to leave the foam out. So
Your name's Barnes Wallace.
this was Barnes Wallace on the mind, all right? It definitely was.
Yeah.
So
Remember
at
that
any
plane
rate,
hanging in your dad's basement.
it's actually my basement. It's my first basement. It's about 4 basements ago.
I loved your weight scale there, Danny.
Oh yeah, the gram scale. That was cool. But really all this was is I built an egg crate out of flat sheets. And then you see the tape lines down below. I use that as a guide. I cut it. I put a leading edge piece, a trailing edge piece. I put a solid piece in back because the flaps were hot wired out of the same, all at the same time. This is the full thickness flaps that I used to use, fully developed, or just cut the flaps out of a full 0018 root 021 modified tip. But yeah, and
way ahead of your time there, buddy.
It was not hard to do. But one of the things about it, you're talking about structural and everything like that. This wing, if you picked it up and this, it wouldn't support its own weight in bending, but you couldn't twist it. It was, the torsional rigidity was perfect on it, and I guess that's part of the reason I want to show it off.
What about a hardwood spar down the middle? Would have that fixed that?
Well, as it turned out, it was as a foam wing. It was just sheeted with balsa. So it was just like a regular foam wing. It got all of its strength out of the balsa skins, and all this did was made a wing shape in the in the balsa. That's all.
Danny, in my in Revolutions, I have the carbon fiber laid out at the same orientation, plus minus 45 degrees on outside of the windskins. The torsion is just amazing.
Oh yeah, it's insane what you gain out of that. And
but I also have the longitudinal spars.
Yeah,
that's they are under the skin there, and they have they're sporty top and bottom, so they don't collapse.
Yeah, the geode orientation on your, well, call them, they behave like ribs, whether they were ribs or not. But you got a lot of torsion out of that, but you got a lot of just plain bending stress out of it, or bending support. By the way, you can make 3-dimensional shapes out of wood. If you want proof, take a piece of 3-inch 16th by 3 balsa and spray it on one side with Windex and see what it does.
No, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it's possible.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's possible.
I didn't understand what Sparky was talking about. You can't build an elliptical wing in balsa. You could do it in your sleep. I don't know what he's talking about.
You can also do it with a foam wing. You have to cut several sections and put them together and blend them in a little bit, but it's doable.
Yeah, I saw somebody had made an RC pylon racer where they were taking the sheet of foam and they were bending it somehow before they cut it. And they would hot wire it, and they would bend the foam, suspend, hot wire it, and then when they unbent the foam, and they ended up with an elliptical progression. So
Well, there's been
Randy
countless
Smith's.
Spitfire models made that are elliptical and compound curves, and they managed to sheet those just fine.
Yeah. Danny, you remember Randy Smith's it's the one he uses on all his logos, Vectra. He cut an SV11 wing, and then he cut a pie-shaped chunk out of it. And he bent the leading edge back to the trailing edge, or to what was left of the trailing edge where he cut the pie out, bent that back, and then took a rasp and sanded the thing down smooth, and a sanding block, got it all smoothed out completely, and sheeted it. And that's a Vectra wing. I watched him
okay,
cut
and that
one.
was a foam wing. Okay.
Yes, sir. And I watched
Okay.
him cut that. In fact, I have it. And that was way ahead of his time. But then you came out with that egg crate thing, and it was just those long, sexy wings and that big V tail. I thought, oh, this is wow.
Well, Bob Hunt and I were hanging around, and when I was doing these things, and while I was doing it, I mean, it wasn't an ultimate way to build a foam wing. It was just an idea. Well, there were some RC pattern guys who actually took that, and they basically they took shapes, and they punched holes in a regular foam wing and made it look like it was an egg crate. And then I remember talking with Hunt at Toledo once. Is, gee, if you took a regular foam wing core and cut it in slices, you could have perfect projections of all of the ribs. Light bulb.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it certainly influenced where how he started it and where he went with it, I'm sure. But and
So what's
I've
that you
never
got in the
built one.
background there, sir?
What's that?
What's that you got in the background?
Oh,
framed out.
This is the Velvet. This is the Wesley Deck airplane I've been working on
Oh, with
forever.
the compound flaps.
Yeah.
Looks sharp.
And I'm just getting to the point where it's almost looking like an airplane. Not really a lot to show off just yet. Let me
All right.
give me a little more time, and I'll have some stuff on it. But
all right.
Any rate, I've got pieces of airplane all over the place. It's first airplane I've ever had where I could remove the flaps. All right. And so the flaps, all 8, the flap,
Guys, I'm gonna say good night. I have to go to work tomorrow.
Good night, Troy.
12 o'clock.
For your show and tell. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See you, Brian. Thanks.
That's smart people in this hobby.
There's a flap.
Take care, Tran.
All right.
Take care.
Good night, Tran. There's a flap. All right.
Wow.
There's 3 slats inside one main flap and all that kind of stuff. And there's a single pin goes through the, hinge pin goes through it. It holds it all to the wing and all that kind of stuff.
Balsa wood, Dennis?
Yes.
Solid balsa?
Yeah, they're just carved section. The slats are actually 2 layers with a formed. There's a piece of aluminum tubing down the center of it. And then there's a pin through there, that is pivoting on. But so this is 2 layers of balsa over a piece of tubing, and then carved to an airfoil shape. And then this here is just
there's
a
a lot of
flap.
engineering. Yeah.
And then Wes's hinge. Well, this is actually my variation on Wes's hinge system. So
yeah.
I remember seeing a video of his plane being put into the AME museum.
I'm sorry, Bob, again?
I saw a video a few years ago about his plane being presented to the AMA museum, one of his planes.
Yes. Yeah, Wes is interesting. He's got, most people can't get an airplane in there. He's got 2.
Yeah.
So
your wife's not looking for your Venetian blinds out of the lounges.
that's it. I can't complain that I can't hang the blinds. Let's put it that way. So
Have you tried those flaps before, Dennis?
I just on one of Wes's airplanes. I've flown his. He actually gave me his Velvet 5 last year, and so I worked with it quite a bit at the end of last year and stuff. So
he's still around, obviously.
He's still around. He's physically, he's really not able to fly anymore. So he started last year. He had 3 of his velvets left, one with plain flaps, and then he had the one that was built from the article that he published, and then he had the Velvet 5, which was a slightly smaller electric version, and he gave those away to 3 of us here. John Paris got one, Larry Fruits over in Plymouth, Indiana got one, and I got one. And we're still planning on a all-West contest. The 3 of us are going to fly his airplanes and make him judge us. Then all 3 of us have built our own versions of his airplane. So we'll have 2 layers of contest there. So
you're going to videotape it and post it, aren't you?
I don't know about that. One problem at a time, Bob.
Get Sparky to come out and post it. I know he doesn't like those complicated airplanes. He commented on them once on the Velvet.
Well, the funny thing is, when you look at the system that he developed, and Wes he's a for real engineer. This thing it's, and I say that because his system is so simple, and you look at it and say, of course that makes sense, Aside from the fact that you got all the pieces to handle and everything like that, it's a very simple, very robust. There isn't anything to go wrong on it. It stays in adjustment. It doesn't, can't fall out or anything like that.
Looking at it, they'd be really a true double slotted flap.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a double slotted flap that works both ways.
Right. Yeah.
So
we had Tom Creasy. He made one.
Yes.
He used to be in our show all the time, and he made it. He made that system.
Yeah, he stopped by Sparky's house one time with it, and I think that's when Sparky first met him. And Sparky wasn't too impressed by it. Said it was way too complicated. Just build a basic stunt plane. But Tom seems to put out a lot of really good airplanes.
Well, Larry built
to see him again.
Larry built his Velvet last year. He built a couple of years ago now. And he built it where he could put a simple flap on it, and then he could take the same airplane and just change flap, pull a pin, and put the slot, the double slotted flap on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the airplane flew very well with regular flaps. He was perfectly happy with how he flew. And he put the double slotted flaps on. He said it just seemed to hold speed better through corners. Came out of the corner holding more power, less drag. Basically, he's behaving like it had less drag. And he says the airplane is clearly better to him. The airplane flies better, not because it does a tighter corner or anything like that, but it just goes through the pattern better than it did with simple flaps. So,
wow.
Well, that makes sense because the slot on it should help maintain laminar flow or closer to laminar flow.
Well, the flaps are apparently double slotted flaps are apparently better at generating lift without generating as much drag.
Yeah.
The full scale performances like that.
Right, because if you can maintain the laminar flow, that eliminates a significant portion of the drag.
Yeah. So.
But here's an idea for you, Bob. Why don't you make an airplane with a hinge right in the middle of the fuselage?
Actually, if you watch some of the videos,
tell me it's been done.
John, it's been done just recently. An indoor flyer light plane that a guy named Mark Robinson. I watch him regularly out of UK, and he's not Mark Robinson. It's Keith. What the heck's his last name? Anyway, the guy is constantly doing all these really cool, lightweight, innovative airplanes and thinking outside of the box. And he made a Spitfire that's a bit different. And the entire wing twists on a pivot at the root. And so the whole wing is an aileron. And it's pretty neat. He's doing test flights now. He had to do a few mods and integrate the rudder with mixed controls to the ailerons, or the wing twist, I guess you could call it. And so it shows a lot of promise, just as something different as a fun flyer. Cliff Harvey. Cliff Harvey is his name. The guy's name, the site is Cliff Harvey.
Okay, and that was for radio control, I take it.
Radio control, indoor flying, and he says on a calm day he'll try it outside.
Like
he's done the darndest of things for building, and it's really fascinating. So there's him and Mark Robinson are RC guys out of UK that I watch regularly.
Well, when they start building models out of that stuff and do what they do, I'll believe it when I see a real airliner built out of polystyrene doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, but I mean, we're in modeling for the fun of it, to try something different.
Oh, true.
Otherwise, we never would have progressed beyond a ringmaster.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
I think Stephen has a question or a comment.
I got to go anyway, guys.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Live stream
Thanks.
very shortly. Did you have a question or comment, Stephen?
Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna ask.
All right. And then Dennis, was you saying goodbye or what was you doing? Oh, you're muted, buddy. Can't hear you.
Yeah, Gordon waved, so I was waving back.
Oh, Gordon left?
Yeah, Gordon had to leave.
Okay,
whatever.
I missed that. You know, we have a in the chat box. We at Go For It Painting. The response was morning, and so I responded in kind, morning, and they're from Hungary, so they're sending greetings.
Oh, welcome
from Hungary. Yeah, Go For It Painting is out of Hungary.
Hey,
well, welcome.
We're getting really international.
Yeah, I was like New Zealand, Hungary, Indonesia. I think Greg Biswick is Venezuela.
And then there's that other country.
And then we have Canadians.
Canada, eh?
Canadians are almost like a staple here.
Canada, I'm telling you, Canada is a suburb of Detroit. All right.
Well, Toronto is
that's
anyway.
The way I learned. That's the way I learned it when I was growing up in Detroit. Canada was they were the suburb on the other side of the river. So.
Well, most of Canada just regards Toronto as being the center of the universe that thinks it's an American city.
Huh. Interesting. Well, you guys, I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you very much for coming in. And today's Monday, so hope you have a chance to do some work in your shop or go flying and come back and tell us all about it Friday night. So until then, farewell.